This airplane is designed by clowns who are in turn supervised by monkeys. That's how an unnamed employee described the Boeing 737 MAX in an internal message that was disclosed to US Congress upon investigation into the company's safety certification procedures. On December 16, 2019, Boeing decided to suspend production of its 737 MAX airplanes following 2 deadly crashes, resulting in the deaths of over 300 people. This begs the question, did Boeing knowingly install faulty parts on their 737 MAX planes? And will the company as a whole ever be able to overcome these tragedies that could have easily been prevented had they not prioritized profits over safety? Or will this be the end of a 100-year-old billion-dollar company? Join us today and see for yourself if you still feel comfortable setting foot in any of their airplanes after watching this. Number 5. The numbers. Now, while 2 crashes over a 500,000 flight span may not seem like a lot, the Boeing 737's max hull loss rate of 4 crashes per million flights ranks it the second highest of all time, behind only the Concorde. In case you were wondering, hull loss is essentially a fashionable term used in the aviation industry to describe a plane crash, allowing industry workers to actually stay away from the term plane crash. It would be the equivalent of saying a murder victim suffered from heart stoppage. The 737 MAX's forerunner, the Boeing Next Generation for instance, has a hull loss rate of 0.17 per 1 million flights. This means that the 737 MAX's hull loss rate is 23 times greater than that of its predecessor. Bluntly assuming that one of the main goals of releasing a new plane is to improve safety, it's safe to say that Boeing didn't meet that lofty goal. Number 4. The first crash. October 29, 2018, Lion Air Flight 610 meets its demise in the Java Sea after departing from the Soekarno-Hatta International Airport in Jakarta, Indonesia, killing all 189 people on board. Flight time 13 minutes, or about the average length of your typical They Will Kill You video. Although the plane was only 2 months old, no one deemed the crash suspect, even though the same aircraft experienced a similar malfunction just the day before. Fortunately, an extra pilot was present during that incident. He was able to correctly diagnose the problem and show the crew how to disable the malfunctioning flight control system. The investigation team and the Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, finally came under scrutiny when a second 737 MAX plummeted out of the sky, or should we say, suffered from hull loss, not even 6 months later. Number 3. The second crash. March 10th, 2019. Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302's 737 MAX 8 plunges nose first at alarming speeds just 6 minutes after taking off. That's faster than the time it takes to brew a pot of coffee. What was meant to be a quick 2-hour flight from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia to Nairobi, Kenya, resulted in the tragic, immediate deaths of everyone on board. A total of 8 crew members and 149 passengers, representing 35 different nationalities. To much of the world's surprise, the aircraft was only 4 months old at the time. After this second crash, stepping aboard a Boeing 737 MAX now made it 1,200 times more likely that you would meet your demise than winning the Powerball. We don't know about you, but we're not exactly loving those odds. A bright mind from the FAA, the same organization that had certified the Boeing 737 MAX just years prior, pointed out that it was odd for a plane to go down twice within a 6-month time span by going into an unintended nosedive. In essence, both plane sensor systems received faulty data less than 15 minutes after takeoff, unintentionally pushing the aircraft into dive mode and rendering the flight crew unable to control the aircraft. Number 2. The blame. It's obvious that fingers can rightfully be pointed towards Boeing and the FAA. But is one party in particular more or less responsible? Although the FAA is not the type of institution that can afford to let itself be deceived, that's exactly what happened. The results of further investigation haven't been mild. according to over 100 pages of internal messages delivered to congressional investigators on January 9th, 2020, Boeing employees mocked federal rules with talks of deceiving regulators and jokes about potential flaws in the 737 MAX as it was being developed. When describing a presentation Boeing once gave to the FAA in 2015, a Boeing employee described the presentation as being so complicated that it was like dogs watching TV. In another exchange, another employee once asked his colleague, "Would you put your family on a MAX simulator-trained aircraft?" "I wouldn't," to which his colleague responded with, "No. If insiders wouldn't, why would you?" Before we move on, official They Will Kill You merchandise is now available at theywillkillyou.com. It's out of this world. Number 1. Groundings and Suspension. The movement to ground Boeing 737 MAXes was led by the Civil Aviation Administration of China on March 11, 2019, just one day after the Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 crash. The FAA then followed suit just 2 days later on March 13th, and by March 18th, all 387 airplanes in circulation, which served 8,600 flights per week for 59 different airlines, were grounded. Adding fuel to the fire, investigations into the 737 MAX led to increased regulatory scrutiny of the company, which then led to discovery of even more problems with the planes and further grounded. By December of that same year, Boeing CEO Dennis Muilenburg was removed from his position. The loss of his job didn't come without a hefty payout though. Despite taking away his bonus, severance pay, and other incentives totaling around $15 million, he still walked out the door with a $62 million parting package. And it doesn't end there. That same day, 2,800 Boeing employees working on the 737 MAX supply chain were laid off. We doubt they received the same sweet deal as Mr. Muilenburg. By January of 2020, Boeing completely shut down its production of the 737 MAX until regulators deem it ready for flight once again. This has been the longest ever grounding for a US airliner. The 737 MAX was at one point Boeing's largest source of profit, but now is estimated to have cost a whopping $18.6 billion. Thanks for watching. Would you rather fly on a Boeing 737 MAX or lick an airplane bathroom seat? Let us know in the comments section below.